All right. We got to record.
On this episode, we talk with Micah Lehman about overcoming a heart defect.
You're listening to the Dudes and Dads Podcast, a show dedicated to helping men be better dudes and dads by building community through meaningful conversation and storytelling. And now, here are your hosts, Joel DeMott and Andy Lehman.
Here we are.
Here we are.
We're here.
So here. I don't know if I've ever been more here than I am here right now.
That's... I don't even know what to think about that, Joel. I'm not sure.
I'm so here.
I'm not sure.
So here. So hard.
Once again.
Right here. All the way.
How many times did you say here in that last sentence?
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing, Andy?
Sorry, I just was messing with Joel's earphones and almost blew his ear out.
I can hear myself much better now. Thank you so much.
I'm doing good. We're doing good.
Here's Andy. I don't know. Tell me how you feel about this. Every year, I forget about the month of May, and here's why I forget what I forget specifically about the month of May. It is when all the things schedule-wise intersect. There's a lot of overlap.
That is true, because like you got 4-H starting,
Yep.
You have all sorts of stuff going on.
Various activities,
Right.
but it feels like those things are in multiple ways are overlapping, and it feels like May just hits you like a ton of bricks, and you're trying to clone yourself, trying to get all the places, and you're asking yourself, is it possible for me to make my 13-year-old drive himself? I mean, not that I want to advocate for underage driving, but I do.
But maybe.
I do want to advocate for underage driving. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Dudes and Dads Podcast. So glad you could join us for yet another episode. This episode, which we'll get into here momentarily, I would say it's deeply personal.
It is.
Close to home, you might say. Because it's in your home.
It was in my... It is.
It is in your home.
home.
You haven't kicked him out yet, have you?
No, not yet. He's getting into that age. But
Micah, congratulations. You're still allowed to live at home. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so super excited about this episode. Ready to have a good conversation with Micah. But before we do, Andy...
Yes, Joel, this episode, support comes from Everence Financial, helping individuals and organizations combine faith and finance through retirement planning, banking, and other financial services. More at everence.com/Michiana. Securities offered through Concourse Financial Group, Securities Incorporated, member, FINRA, SIPC.
I've never heard it better. Never heard it better. We're really getting in the sync of things.
We're in the groove.
So grateful to all of our friends over at Everence. So, Andy,
Welcome, Micah.
yeah,
Thank you.
Hi, Micah. Thanks for joining us. Micah in the studio with us tonight. I asked if he could go remote. Andy thought that'd be weird. Like if we left him behind at home.
That would be interesting. But
Dad's going to the studio. Can you please just stay here? We'll bring you on. No, he's here with us. Micah, it's really good to see you.
thank you.
Micah, the school year is almost, you got a week left, right?
Yep. Next Friday.
There you go. So you've almost
Almost done.
across the finish line.
Yep.
Do you, as looking back on this school year, mostly a success? Do you feel like this was a good year for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned how to weld.
See, okay, right there. Let's just stop right there, guys. If nothing else, you can say what you will about the disaster that is public education right now. That's right, you heard me say it. But here's the deal: we are still teaching young people real things, useful skills. And as Micah has just mentioned here, the boy learned how to weld. I mean, almost anything is possible now, really. What I'd like to see, honestly, Micah, here's what I'd like to invite you to. I think maybe some metal sculpture in your parents' front yard, to display.
We got
it.
Christmas gifts from him.
Really?
So, yeah, they were good.
You welded
Yeah.
Christmas gifts.
Yep.
Gosh, the sky's the limit for you, young man. Before you know it, you'll be welding all kinds of things. That's super exciting.
So,
Good.
anyways, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we are talking about a heart defect that you found fairly recently. I mean, within the last several years. Can you start with your story about how you found about your heart defect?
Yeah, so in 2019, would have been 13. I went to the dentist, and they decided that, I think they just started for 13-year-olds, they started checking blood pressure. And mine was really high. Like, normally it's about 120, I think, over 80. Mine was 180 over, I think I want to say 120 or something like that. It was pretty high, like dangerously high. So my mom didn't really think anything about it. I mean, because it was one of the wrist ones, like, so they're not very accurate. So she just figured that it was a malfunction in that or something. And then she was reminded a couple weeks later, because here at church they were doing blood pressure things for like free readings. And so she had me go do it again, and it was about the same. It didn't go down at all. So then we went to what was it? It would have been
Your normal doctor.
my normal doctor. What all did he? I can't remember exactly, but
He basically, I mean, he took it, but I forget what he said exactly, but
yeah,
he wanted to do some tests.
Oh yes, he didn't. Okay, so he didn't think or hear anything going on with my heart. So, but he did hear like a murmur over my kidneys. So he was gonna have us do it, like a test. It would have been like a catheter through my leg, and
Well, that sounds fun.
yes, it would have been. Keyword would have.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we get there, like I had to wake up insanely early because it was like all the way in South Bend, and that was, I think the thing was at like, I want to say 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And so then when we got there, I had gotten all in the gown and everything was ready, like mentally prepared for it. And then the doctor, or the guy who would have been doing it, was like, I don't really think we need to do this today. And so we kind of left that angry because it's like, it's my life we're talking about.
Sure, right, yeah. Mhm.
Like, I'm very mad about that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Where was I then?
So then after that,
And then, then we went back to him, and he also was mad. The doctor, my local doctor, was mad about that for obvious reasons. And so then he sent me to the cardiologist at South Bend, and she had me do some tests like an EKG, and then I think it's a echocardiogram, and so. And then, like, one of them where I don't know if it's the echocardiogram or what it is, but they basically do an ultrasound of your heart. And they saw some, I don't exactly remember, like, what it was, but...
Well, so what I remember, the one thing that I remember from this was the image, like a 3D image of Micah's heart, but all of the... like his heart had, like his heart was trying to overcome the fact that there were my super technical, there were issues, right? That there were issues, right?
Issues.
So specifically with blood flow,
yeah.
right? And so that your heart had. So did they see that early? Like, was that an indicator to them? Like when they started kind of, or did that happen later?
well, that happened, I think, was that?
That happened, like, the day before I went to surgery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they found through this process that there was definitely something wrong.
Gotcha.
And then I was basically diagnosed with a bunch of different things. I think it's called, like, the Shone's complex or something. One of the things being the coarctation of the aorta.
So explain to our audience what coarctation of the aorta means.
Google
'Cause
that.
That's a big word.
Yeah.
So the aorta is the main, like, artery that takes blood flow from your body. It kind of does like a candy cane shape, goes up and then goes down to the bottom half of your body. And so in a coarctation, that artery starts to shrink down in a spot. So typically that artery is about the size of your pinky finger. Mine in that spot was, I think they said it was a tip of
It was like the
ballpoint
tip of
pen.
a ballpoint pen.
Ballpoint
yeah.
pen,
Like that's the diameter of what it was. And so yeah, that was
So it's restricting
Yeah,
blood flow,
yeah.
thus the elevated, extremely
Yep.
elevated blood pressure.
Yep. It was high in my top half and then really low in my bottom half.
Right, because your heart was trying to push a bunch of
it's
blood
like
through.
it's like when you take a hose and you like pinch it off.
Sure.
That is basically what happens. So you'll have high blood pressure or high pressure in one half and then really low in the rest.
So had there been other symptoms that you had experienced, like you didn't have, like you had some other health things
Yeah.
that had happened before that you didn't really have an explanation
Yeah.
for? What were those things that were connected to it?
One of my major things, which still kind of happens, but not as much now, are like migraines. I get like the visual kind. They're a pain. Like I'll still get them like during the school day or whatever, and I have to go home.
or right before this podcast
Or,
episode.
yeah, actually,
He had one.
jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one of the major symptoms that we had, and they were like, I would say, about 10 or so a month.
Yeah.
So it was like a lot.
Pretty disruptive
Yeah,
to
yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot of the things that you, because surprise, surprise, Micah being part of the Lehman family, he's a pretty active young man.
Yes,
a lot of
I
things,
am.
a lot of things going on. So yeah, would get in the way of that
Mhm.
stuff on the
Yep.
regular. Mm-hmm.
And so, where was I at?
Well, they
Migraines.
discovered and they discovered the fact that you had this.
Mhm. And so then another symptom I had, which was the fact that I would lay down or whatever, sit down on the couch, watch TV. I would stand up, and sometimes my legs would just give out because there wasn't blood flow to them.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I just thought that was kind of normal, like when you you like stand up and like you get like kind of lightheaded and whatever.
Like after his surgery, I remember him saying, "Oh, like I don't feel like he didn't even he didn't realize that wasn't even
Yeah.
normal
Gotcha. So
because
that-
he didn't
Yeah.
know."
So you had known that feeling or
Yeah.
that sensation for
Mhm.
the majority of your life, really.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, so I mean, this would have been something he was born with,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and most people who have this, like, I think that they either fix it by like 2 years old,
Okay.
or you end up dying of it.
Yeah, I think it's like 1 year, but yeah, it's
It's pretty quickly
Yeah.
that they fix it, and for
And
some reason, no one ever caught this
yeah,
in Micah.
Interesting.
yeah.
Until one day you went to the dentist
yeah,
office.
Yeah, of all the places, the dentist.
Which, I mean, obviously, so for like, you know, and again, the practices of, at the dentist office and place like this, the whole idea there was that they're, I think American Medical Association or whatever it is trying to find more places that you come into contact with some sort of medical professional where they're doing that to screen for that sort of stuff, to catch
yeah.
things. So that's actually where that policy actually like really ended up in your favor, right?
Yeah.
Because at least began kind of even though it was took a little while to get going, kind of began the process of discovery for you.
So
and now that dentist does it for everybody, every patient that walks through the door.
And they can tell the great story.
Yep, they
Right.
they
They're
can tell
like
do.
the Micah
Yeah.
Lehman story,
And-
why we do it.
in fact,
right?
I was there one time recently, and they took my blood pressure, and mine was a little bit high at the time. And they're like,
Yes.
"Yeah, we had this kid one time," and I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
mine.
It was
It's
my
my son.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's me. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
great.
So you went to the cardiologist in South Bend.
Mhm.
They basically said this is a big problem. And then what did they do?
She basically said, she's sent the case down to all of the surgeons at Riley Hospital.
The cardiologist
down
team.
in Indy,
Mm-hmm.
and said that like they meet on like a Thursday or whatever, and all of them will sit down and discuss this case, and then like that Thursday or that Friday or whatever, Mom got like a email or whatever from the cardiologist, and they were like, "Yeah, you're going down to surgery in like 2 weeks."
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah. So then you essentially had you didn't have open heart surgery.
no. It went through. So it goes through my side and my back. Do I show it?
I mean, you can if you want, but
yeah.
It's kind of weird, but yeah, it's I would say about 12 inches from my side here, my ribs, all the way up to my back. That was not that painful, surprisingly, when they did it.
well, they like essentially deflated your lung.
Yeah, they deflated my lung, went through my side, deflated my lung, and then to get to the heart, and then fixed it.
And also, I do want to say this too: that anyone who is listening or watching us live, go ahead and put your comments. If you have any questions for Micah, go ahead and put them in the comments, and we'd love to give them to Micah.
So, was this one of those situations? Like, so is this one of these deals where the doctor is doing the operation directly, or is doing it through some sort of other mechanical process?
I don't think I know. I do remember going back into the operating room, but there was so much going on that I didn't.
Yeah.
Or at least the room that they had me put in at first to like put me to sleep with the anesthesia, but I don't remember.
So, what is it exactly? Are they putting something into the side of him?
So, I mean, essentially, the surgery, and actually, Mike, I'll let you tell us. Like, what did they do during the surgery?
Like, what do you mean?
Like,
Okay.
what was it?
Yeah.
How did they fix? How did they fix that?
They basically cut out that, I think it's 2 or 3 inch section in my aorta, and placed it in this artificial, almost like fabric mesh synthetic thing.
It looks like a vacuum hose.
Yeah, it looks like
actually.
a vacuum hose. It's like my nickname, I guess, around the house is that like vacuum hose man. I'm part vacuum hose, I guess, but it's a lot more expensive than a vacuum hose.
Yeah.
But so that thing is about, I want to say 1 or 2 inches that they stretched it to make it like they could have put like a child size one in, but I would have had to go back and get it replaced, like soon after, and they just like put the adult one in. Didn't have to worry about it then.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And so then my veins and arteries will grow and did grow around that synthetic piece.
Well, and in fact, actually, even before that, and this is what Joel was alluding to
That's what I was
earlier,
trying to get at.
Is that there was a picture that they had taken,
Yeah.
and before that, like other arteries had grown up around it to kind of help the blood flow.
As the first time I saw it without really any context, when I saw it, was like clearly a heart, but then it was like your heart had grown like tentacles. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I like. They're all these extra, like they're clearly like I had never seen a photo of a heart like that.
Yeah.
With all these other art, basically like to overcome that your body was, which is just the absolute most amazing thing.
Yeah, it's amazing how that body does
Like
that.
your body was like, hey, not enough blood here. We're gonna grow other means by which to circulate blood, essentially. But if you would look at it, you're like, I'm no medical expert, but I have never seen a heart that looks like that, right? Yeah.
And so, I mean, honestly, as a parent, I think, like I was scared for you. Like, I mean, I couldn't let you know that.
Yeah.
But like I was like this happened so fast. I mean, really,
Like
from the time
we found out to like the time that the surgery happened, I think I found out that like the high blood pressure in like late September, maybe early August, and I had everything fixed in the like about the end of August of 2019. So
yeah, I mean, it really was. I mean, a matter of weeks that it happened. It was like boom, boom, boom. As parents,
all the appointments and everything,
things, and driving to Indy and back, and like I knew God had it in His hands. I knew that this is. But like for us as a parent, I mean, we were just super grateful for the dentist for doing this because I mean, you were 13,
yeah.
And this is normally caught when you're 2 or under 2.
Like when you're born,
right.
Actually, they test for it.
Right. And for some reason, it didn't get caught. And so for us, we're just super grateful for the dentist to be able, doing that. So thank you, Troy and Vonda.
Thank you, Troy and Vonda.
Yeah.
Springer Dental, not a sponsor,
but
we're grateful for
them.
them.
We're grateful for them. And so, it was pretty quick. How were you feeling when you went in? I mean, like, were you at any point like scared or?
I mean, definitely when I first found out, I was like, "Oh, cool! I kind of have something special." And then, like, as I learned more and more about it, I was kind of getting more nervous about it. And then when we found out that I needed surgery, I was nervous for having surgery, but at the same time, like, really relaxed. And then, like, the day that the surgery happened, like, I was probably the calmest person in that building.
Really? That's interesting.
And I didn't have any medicines for like calming in me, except for when they put me to sleep, they had like laughing gas on me, but like just before they put the anesthesia on. But other than that, there were like no calming medicines I took.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I remember just pre-op being with having all three of you in the room because I was your youth pastor at the time.
Yep.
And friend.
Thank you. Yeah. I like to believe that your parents would have invited me in even if I didn't have the
creds.
the religious responsibility. But yeah, I mean, I would say to your credit, Micah, that's the one thing I remember is you being pretty calm about it, and your parents also in the room trying to be very calm, and like basically it was a matter of just getting you out of that room onto surgery before they could I think. Because they obviously you were really, I mean, you were a champ, like doing so well. And I know as a parent, you're like, I don't want to introduce my own stress onto them, right before that. And they did super well, but there was definitely this sense of like, once you were out of the room of like, well, here's, now reality, like this is reality.
That's like the longest time too, because you're, as a parent, your kid's going under and they're having this pretty major, like, heart surgery for real.
It is his heart.
Right.
Yes.
It's his heart that they're working on.
Right.
And so for us as a parent, for me anyways, it was like,
Like the slightest thing that tickled my heart or anything, I could have instantly gone into cardiac arrest.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what was also amazing though is how long were you in the hospital?
I think they said to be prepared for about 2 weeks. I was in there for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 days, a week, somewhere in there.
It was pretty, and that's just, the amazing thing about medicine these days, given the very serious and like intensive nature of all of that, the fact that you can be out so quickly.
Right, and home, and yeah.
So you have this surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing I remember about you after the surgery. You started growing like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was short. My brother Eli, who was younger than me, was pretty much since I would say about, since he was about 10, 11, was taller than me. And then I started catching up and was a little bit taller than him. And he said he got worried about that I was going to be taller than him for good. Yeah. But he's still taller than me now. But that's just because I'm older.
He got the tall genes in the.
I don't know where he got them.
Yeah, I'm interested in what recessive gene that he's embracing. So there's. Yeah, so you started experiencing, all these things. It was kind of, there were new parts to your life, like what you're experiencing physically within your body. Do you feel like, Micah, like as you kind of reflect on this experience, your dad said earlier, God has purposes. There's purposes for this, this for you. What, as you have reflected, like what does it feel like has been accomplished within you as a person, with this whole process?
I've definitely grown with my walk in Christ since then. It was a major event in my life that helped shape who I am as a Christian.
Yeah.
And as a person in general. So
yeah. I would imagine there's few things that compare to having your life put on hold, so to speak, like that, but then also being reminded of how fragile life is, because like you said, any number of things. Your dad said it earlier, which this is the hard thing. Either they catch it early or it kills the person. So by God's grace, you lived to age 13.
13 times I could have died.
Any number of things, especially you being as active as you are.
Yeah, I had felt like I was always able to catch up and stay active and running with it.
So basically, you were it's really like you had just superhuman powers to overcome the things you were going through.
Like before, I definitely, when I was running, I could get tired really easily, but I felt like more like a short distance type of running.
Sure.
I'm not a runner in general at all, but definitely as I've gotten older, I'm definitely not.
Well, because you're a sensible person.
Yeah.
Who runs for fun?
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. Yeah. No, I get it.
But then after that, I could run a mile, or not quite a mile, but half a mile or so, and I could not get tired.
Yeah.
And so, normal 13-year-old kid
Yeah,
things.
and I wonder, like, I mean, so had this process, like, had it strengthened your heart in some ways? I mean, were there you kind of like felt? I would just imagine. I mean, going from pre-surgery to post-surgery, and now a massive amount of more blood can literally flow through your body and your heart. Like, I just have to imagine that is a significant, like, that's a significant difference.
Yeah, it is very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, it's just, it is an amazing thing. It's a testimony of obviously of God's provision and his goodness. And, I think, especially like with your guys' family in particular, like, there's, it has been one unique medical thing after another.
Well,
and I think, it's an interesting thing to see how what has come of that. And Micah, I appreciate your attitude. I appreciate the young man that you are, because I think you're a good example of, like you said, someone who can look to God and say, okay, I see the growth that happened through this, and I see how it could have, like, 100 different ways could have gone differently, right? 100 different ways could have gone differently, and having more young people, and again, when you're young, it's hard to know how fortunate you are, right? Like, it's hard to know, like, the good things, and being young and being your age is hard enough as it is. I've been reminded here recently of just some interactions that I've had with a lot of boys, your age, and it's a pivotal time in life, right? It's like there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of decisions that are coming your way, important things. Do you feel following? So here's maybe this is an interesting question. At least it's interesting to me. Do you feel like I feel like you're kind of, I would say, like, you're not a risk adverse person. That's, like, I would say that you're a risk taker.
Yeah.
Much to your parents' chagrin. Do you think that's related to this, and to your medical history at all? Do you think that has some sort of influence on it?
I mean, definitely. It's like that YOLO, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like definitely coming near to death has, like, helped realize, like, I could die at any point.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna, like, risk it, why not?
Yeah.
If I'm already gonna possibly die, like, why not take the risk of getting hurt already?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
you've overcome a massive heart defect already.
Yeah. What else can I do?
Why not?
Like, I'm turning 18 at the end of this year. I want to, like, either get a tattoo.
I like where this is going
go
already.
Skydiving.
Oh,
both. Why do you need to pick one or the other?
Yeah. I would think your dad would be
Let's do both
encouraging you toward
Sounds
both.
good.
Okay, I heard it. By the end of this year, skydiving and another tat. Let's get ink done. Yeah, Andy, I'm wondering, like, what have you? How does a parent handle a risk-taking child? Like, given what Micah has been through, because you could definitely understand, like, his perspective on life.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and all of that. In a world today where, if we could, it feels like so many parents want to bubble wrap their kids, and I get it, because they're precious cargo. We love them, we care about them, we don't want to see undue harm come to them. At the same time, we want to see them live life fully and learn how to take risks, hopefully calculated to a point. What's been your thought, like, your perspective on that?
Well, I mean, I definitely never really thought of it the way that he just said. I never really thought about it the way, that this is because of the fact that he almost died. like I guess I never really thought about that being one of the reasons that he's risk. What did you say? Risk?
He's not risk adverse.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think you still, like, want to protect your kids, right?
I still want to be, like, careful when I can. Like, I don't want to go and, like, jump off a cliff without a parachute.
100, you're not
Like,
crazy.
you're not
I'm not,
dumb.
like,
Yeah.
crazy, yeah.
Right.
But like definitely like calculated in a way. Like
Yeah, and maybe a desire to just get the most out of each experience, right?
an adventure seeker, maybe
Yeah.
in a way.
What's a big adventure? Okay, so we said tattoo and skydiving. I say, why not get a tattoo while skydiving?
Well, skydiving.
It might not turn out exactly how you want it to. What other goals for you, Micah? What other big kind of big, hairy, scary kind of things have you thought about?
I love the sport of Formula One racing and the
Ooh,
motorsports. I think it would be awesome to like get a ride in a open wheel car. It could be IndyCar, something like that. I mean, yes, they're G forces, and I'm not supposed to have like a lot of pressure. I'm not supposed to have a lot of pressure on my chest, but yeah.
So my question is, because this is the thing that I've heard about all of the people that go and do test rides within like Formula One, Indy. Are you excited about wearing the adult underwear? That's really what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
That feels like. I feel like when you do, like, if you do something that intense and really that manly, let's just call it what it is. The way that you have to be brought slightly back down to earth is having to wear adult diapers, right? Yeah, I think so.
I mean, again, their necks are in that sport. Their necks are so thick because of the amount. It's like the only thing that's like free to move besides their hands.
Yeah.
So it's like everything is strapped in. So their necks would do that if they didn't like go to the side if they didn't.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. People like they are athletes in the truest sense of what it takes for physical stamina and all of that.
And a lot of times with the Formula One, they travel around the world. So it's a lot of times it's in like the Middle Eastern where it's hot. They're already in this race suit that's fireproof.
Yeah.
And so it's extremely hot. They're undergoing like so much forces. They're athletes.
So long story short, Mike is going to get in a race car. That's what I've learned.
Ian says adult underwear crying emoji.
Ian, there's nothing. I was going to say there's nothing funny about adult underwear. But there is clearly because I'm laughing about it. For those of you that do wear adult underwear, I want to just say, just complete no disrespect to you.
Yeah,
zero disrespect.
Micah, is there anything that you want to say, like anything that we didn't touch on tonight?
Yeah, a couple things. The best thing to get you like better in a hospital, chicken noodle soup.
Oh, nice.
Always the best.
Nice.
And second, I really appreciated all like I had a huge box of gifts that everybody that knew me pretty much donated. That was nice because even after I was opening gifts, it's like Christmas in August.
That was one I think, and man, I'm so glad you said that because that's something I remember. Like that, things like this, things that occur like this, where you are reminded of really the great community that's surrounding you, all the people that love you, people care about you. Good stuff, and I'm so glad that we get to sit here and talk about this now, and that we can have this kind of conversation because, I mean, it's it can be scary stuff, but there is something to be said for any of our kids, that go through hard things, of it really being an opportunity for them to develop that those can become opportunities for, I look at Micah and I see somebody who has got some things that some intentionality that's in life, in a day and age when young people are just feels like they're kind of, it can be pushed and pulled at all different kinds of ways. Right. And there's this sense of like, oh, I'm not sure where my life is going sort of thing. Mike, I'm just very, very encouraged by the intentionality that you bring to life, and I think
thank you.
That's a product of the journey that you've been on. So good stuff, man. Micah, thank you for sharing your story,
You're
buddy.
welcome.
It's one more insight. Yeah.
So you had made kind of an analogy. You were super good at analogies earlier. So can you tell me the analogy that with your heart?
So the way I would see it is that like we're all born with a heart defect of some sort. it's sin, but like mine is a physical heart defect, but also like a mental or whatever heart defect.
Spiritual.
Spiritual,
Yep.
yeah, that one. And like the only like surgery and like the best surgeon is Jesus, and like that's just the best way to get rid of this heart defect.
Yeah. It's it's always a good reminder that the physical things there are a spiritual counterpart to that, right? Too, and that's a good analogy.
And the first time I thought about that was about a year ago when our youth group was going to do a missions trip to Alaska, and so we were preparing our testimonies, and so that was just a part that like I thought about was
that's a natural one, right?
It's like it's a major event. So
yeah. It's like, let me tell you about my heart, both spiritually and physically, and how that story intersects. That's so great. That's really, really great.
Micah, you are like no other guest, though.
Oh, here it comes.
You're gonna get the.
Now it's time for the Dudes and Dads Pop Quiz.
All right, all right, guys. If you've never joined us, the pop quiz is a time that we just randomly throw things at Micah that have nothing to do with the topic of heart defects.
Sounds good.
And we just get to know him a little bit better, and he has no idea what's coming. So
sweet.
I will go first. Micah, what is your favorite gadget?
Gadget.
Oh, I'm really big into survival, and so
you are.
Yeah, that's another major thing about me.
True.
So I think it was for my birthday, my aunt got me this thing called a Scotch-eyed auger.
Oh.
It is basically an auger that has a eyelet on the top that you can fit a stick through. And so it makes a 1-inch hole.
Okay.
So it's used for like bushcraft making tools and like ladders, and
you can auger your way through just about anything.
And then so you can just whittle a stick down and use it as a hand auger.
Love it.
I thought you were gonna say today, Micah, I come home and Micah is building a bed for his van.
Oh yeah.
Like a loft, basically. Like he's got it up, and so he can slide things underneath it. And
I thought you were gonna say
that.
The van is currently sitting out in the parking lot with it in it. So,
Micah, can I just ask you a question? Because I'm just piecing a few things together. Number one, you are a scout that has a cabin by a river. You have a van that you're putting a bed in. Will you be living in a van down by the river? That's what I need to know, just so I can prepare myself.
possibly.
Yep. See, okay, I see the wheels turning. Okay, my question, Micah. Let's just put it out there. Favorite Formula One driver?
Oh, that's hard.
Oh, here it comes.
So, when I first got into Formula One, which is about a year ago, so I'm a newer fan. Sadly, my favorite driver, I never got to actually see him race. His name is Kimi Räikkönen. He's from he's like a Finnish person. He
finishes things.
Yeah. He's from Finland.
Ding, ding, ding.
He's from Finland. So he always raced, or recently he's raced under, he raced under number 7, which was also Michael Schumacher's number when he was at Ferrari. Which Kimi also raced at Ferrari, different time period, but so yeah, he won in 2007, like the World Championship. That's the only time he did. Some say that he only won because Lewis' teams messed up in strategy intentionally. Lewis Hamilton, by the way.
We're never going to stop talking.
Yeah, no,
now.
we're not.
So who is your? So that's your that's your favorite.
Yeah,
We're gonna
Lewis.
Kimmy?
Sorry, Kimmy. Yes.
All right.
Okay, I'm just glad we finished that question.
Oh, finish.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay.
Oh man.
Thank you.
You were waiting for that one.
I was.
All right, Micah. Which talent would you most like to have?
Racing.
Racing.
Yeah.
All right. I could have figured that one, but go ahead.
All right, Micah. If money or time, are not a factor in this question. When I say time, I mean like hopefully you'll understand the question. What is your perfect day? Like, what's your perfect day involve? Like, what are the pieces to it?
So in the morning, it would probably be like waking up about maybe 9 or 10.
Nice. Okay.
So
all right.
I'm definitely a late sleeper.
Yep. That's great. That's great.
Like if I had the chance, I would probably sleep until about that. And when we don't have school, I usually do.
Okay.
Except for this summer.
Except this summer, I'm getting a job.
Gone are the days.
Yep. And then probably go to lunch somewhere.
What do you having? What are you having at lunch?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I really like pretzels.
Okay, pretzel's good answer.
Or Chinese. Chinese is good too.
How about a Chinese pretzel? Okay. So you're sleeping in, getting Chinese pretzel,
Yep.
and then what finishes the day well for you? Like what's the thing that you just want to cap a good day off on?
Definitely either watching a Formula One race.
Yes.
And also maybe sleeping outside in like a tarp shelter of some
Perfect.
sort.
Yes. Okay. Survivalist to the end. Okay.
All right, so since Joel asked about food, I'm going to ask you, if you had a sandwich named after you,
There we go.
what would be on it?
Oh, turkey, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely like turkey more than roast beef or ham.
Hot take.
I like bologna, but not as much.
Okay, so you go
turkey.
turkey sandwich.
Yep, with I would say lettuce, tomato, and pickle.
Okay.
So like Subway sandwich, it would be with like salt, pepper, oil, and vinegar.
Gotcha. What kind of bread are we talking here?
Italian urban cheese.
Oh, Italian urban cheese.
So the Italian urban cheese with salt and pepper, oil, vinegar, turkey, tomato, lettuce, pickle is the Micah?
Yeah.
That's the Micah. Ding, ding, ding. Michael, my final question is, in a zombie apocalypse, okay, who's the first family member to go,
Wait.
and who lasts the longest? Who are you killing off first? Again, entirely fictional, but who you, like if this is the zombie apocalypse show that you're producing for your family, who goes first?
That's a good question. Reagan.
Reagan goes for, okay, Reagan, here's the deal. You got to bone up on your zombie apocalypse survival skills, apparently, according to Michael. Okay, and then who lasts the longest?
I want to say Hattie, probably.
He thinks Hattie lasts the
She
longest?
beats
Wow.
me up.
Oh.
Like,
Hattie, you're a survivor. You're an overcomer. And
and then Dad.
as we all know, here's the deal. It's been shown. The person that really lasts the zombie apocalypse, best shotgun skills. So
Micah.
Yeah.
So, you know, when it comes to that, I think you've probably got a good chance of not having your face eaten off by a zombie.
62 out of the 100 clays.
Nice. There we go. You're primed and ready.
I'm
for
not even going to tell you my number of
Yeah,
plays.
that's okay. I didn't ask for that very reason, to save you the embarrassment.
I would say imagine less than 20.
All right.
Okay.
Let's end the show.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Shots fired at the very end. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Mike, appreciate you being here. As always, you can head over to dudesanddads.podcast.com for all the spicy show notes and all the details about each and every episode.
You can, or call our voicemail. We love feedback, 574-213-8702.
Or dudesanddads.podcast@gmail.com for the emails that will inspire, taunt us, thrill us.
All the things.
All the things. Guys, appreciate each and every one of you turning in yet again, and we look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, we wish you grace
and peace.